Before we get into the video, shout out to our sponsors, Subside clothing brand. Subside is a new, up-and-coming clothing brand established in Bristol that is looking to add something different with their clean designs that celebrate their roots. You can find the link to all their social medias in the description of this video. From the Terrace Podcast and Subside clothing brand, it's a match made in heaven. Support the boys, support the grind, shop Subside. Hello and welcome back to the From the Terrace podcast and to another edition of Champ Talk. We missed on the weekend. We're busy bees at the moment. I'll tell you what, bees are also busy. Brentford winning the West London derby. Yes, we're getting straight into it. God, he's a world-renowned presenter. Come get me, BBC. Come get me, Sky. Have you seen when Sky they after like the games and stuff, they do like the little headline of what sums up the game like after. It's always bees, sting, and then something else. And it's like, oh God, you thought of a class on that. Anyway, Brentford did win the West London derby, proving West London is still red and white and not blue and shite. So, Regan with a look of disagreement. Anyway,
Sorry, I've never had any red in West London, but the white, yeah, not no red.
Oh, all right. Anyway, did you see the game? Did you? What did you think of it? I'll let you go first before I get into my thoughts on the match. But Brentford winning by 2-1, thanks to goals from Janelt and Tony.
I didn't watch the game start to finish. I watched some elements of the game, and at around, I think it was around half time or so, when QPR had quite a few chances in the first half, I was like, oh, hang on, because QPR were on a good run beforehand. I think they only lost 1 in 6, maybe 7. They were in a pretty
decent. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe they could hold out for a draw, maybe even a win. But the second half was like bog standard QPR, what we've slated numerous times on this podcast throughout the years we've been doing it. It was absolutely embarrassing with QPR, and that's both credit to Brentford because they literally make QPR look terrible, but also credit to Mark Warburton because he somehow manages to surprise us by making his teams look crap every single week. But it's full credit to Brentford because the rut that they were in, because the position loads of fans thought they would be in at this point of the season, and to come out against probably a very tough opposition on paper at the moment and deliver that kind of result. I mean, like I said at half time, I thought QPR had the better opportunities. It looks like on stats that they'd be more likely to get a winner if there would be one. But when you look at it from half time to full time, it's a completely different game, and I've got to give full credit to Brentford. And hopefully for them, that is the start of a bit of consistency for them. And somehow, even though you and me talked about it, even though they haven't been putting good results in, they're like, what? Where are they? 6th or something now?
We got, I think Swansea's result on the weekend put us to 7th, but we're still very much in that pack. Yeah,
they're ridiculous.
Yeah, my take on the game. I mean, I completely agree. QPR. In all honesty, I'm not going to fake. QPR absolutely battered us in the first half. We went 1-0 up against the run of play. Then QPR swung back into being a better team again. I say they battered us, but they controlled the game. They had 2 big opportunities. They scored one and one. Dykes missed. Like I don't know what he was doing. He put it right into the stand. There was the controversy around Sorensen maybe potentially getting a red card. In all honesty, I thought the foul was harsh, but if you give the foul, it's a red card by the laws of the game. So I can see why people were annoyed. But yeah, I think what impressed me about this win for Brentford is, to be honest, I watched the game and I didn't think we played any good football. I didn't enjoy it at all, but we won, and I don't associate that with Brentford too often. And I feel Brentford, like, especially with the injuries, there's no Pontus came on at half time. Norgard's still not there. Likes of Shandon Baptiste still injured. Brentford have been hit with injuries, and they're still 7th in the league. Best league start to a championship campaign ever. We've never started this well in the championship. I don't think we've really got out of second gear this season, and we're 7th in the league, only 4 points off the top 2. That sort of gives me confidence going forwards. We've got Rotherham tomorrow night, and I mean, I'll be honest. Out of all of the West London derbies between Brentford and QPR over the years, especially the ones at Brentford's ground, this is the biggest fight QPR have ever put up. Probably deserved something from the game. but Brentford won, and that's what good teams do. So I think that pretty much sums up the match. Ivan Toney's just, I just can't. The guy's an absolute poacher. I just can't believe some of the. And he's not. He just works so hard for the team. So he made the most tackles in the game out of any player. But it's just Ivan Toney just does it all. Only thing that worries me slightly, we'll still take from this game. We are bloody relying on Ivan Toney. We need to sort that left winger position out soon. Fossey's not cutting it. Canos hasn't been cutting it. I think Godos deserves a chance because there's been a lack of creativity in the side. But won the game. West London's still red and white. And Mark Warburton is a butthurt bread man. He is pathetic. Saying there was 200 fans in the ground. No, it's called a board for actually back you, mate. I don't know if you fucking know about that sort of thing, but but yeah, Brentford winning the West London derby with 2-1. Anyway, next game, Regan. It was a Saturday early kickoff. Reading Bristol City, mate. Reading actually, I mean, they must have got a mechanic in because they put the wheels back on the bus. Bristol City losing. Bristol City looking pretty awful at the back in that game. Thoughts on it?
That's one of the shocks of the weekend for me, that, because after Reading last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week when I predicted them to win, I was like, okay, they might against Millwall, like they might get some momentum back here because Millwall's a team you could beat quite easily the way that they've been playing, and I don't think I didn't give them a chance in this game. I'm pretty sure you didn't either, but fair play to them. I mean, I don't really have much else to say. That fair play to the players. I mean, Bristol City looked nothing like what they did at the start of the season. Not even close. Literally, I couldn't put any similarities between those two. But full credit to Reading players because their heads would be low after the run they're currently on, and to pick themselves up and beat a team that many people are saying that could be up there come the end of the season. Full credit to them. But for Bristol City, that's a really bad result because it's more defensive worries that we saw quite a lot last season because a lot of people question their defensive stability, and everyone, like the signing of Alfie Mawson especially, people are like, oh, maybe, but now he's out. It's a bad time for Bristol City, and they need to sort that out quickly or they're gonna have these results come more often.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with Bristol City. I think for their problem, they've been unlucky of injuries. They've had Thomas Callas and Alfie Mawson get injured both at separate times in the season, who are clearly their two best defenders. But I just feel like their backups. I mean, I've said this to a lot of obviously, I've got a lot of Bristol City supporting mates, and I'm not here for some of their backups, in all honesty. Like, don't get me wrong, young talent, they're decent footballers, but they are not promotion-worthy players. I think I know this is a one game, and it might seem harsh to pick on it, but some of the defending for those goals, Taylor Moore, terrible, absolutely terrible. This guy, I've been told, is future Bristol City captain. I've been told because he was a youth captain for England at some level. He's not convinced. I don't think his loan spells were particularly like where he set the world alight. He did decent. He got decent reviews, but he wasn't smashing it. Zach Viner has has struggled at other levels, struggled at Championship level when on loan at Rotherham, and now come to Bristol City side where, to be honest, apparently he's been a very good performer so far this season, but I just can't see consistency. And I think those players are helped and dragged along by the experience of someone like Alfie Mawson or Thomas Callas. And when they don't have them next to them, I was surprised that there was no. They've not been playing Adrian Mariapamore since those injuries, because you'd have thought that'd be the sort of player to coach him through games. Just don't know about Bristol City. Just feels like that defence may let them down at some point. If Callas and Mawson's injuries keep them out for as long as people think they suspect. But fair play to Reading, won the game, and that's where they carry their threat. Their strikers and their attacking midfielders are up there, some of the best in the division. The problem is that we've always said is their defence, and they're probably the players further back down the pitch aren't good enough. But a good win for Reading. Reading are still in the top six. They're keeping their spot. Bristol City just about in the top six as well. Yes, that was 3-1 in that game. The next one we're going to talk about more in depth is Norwich City Coventry. It was only a 1-1 draw, not a lot to shout at home about, but we wanted to pick up on the Norwich injuries. They started Marcus Stiepermann up top. They had Tete in midfield. They had young Josh Martin playing. The suspensions with Emi Buendia and the injuries of other players it's concerning for them, isn't it? Because Michael McGovern had to come on and play in goal against, I think it was Stoke in the week, and obviously started against Coventry. They've got a lot of injuries, and do you think that could be a problem for them in a few weeks? Do you think They have the depth in maybe the forward positions. I mean, people would say that Norwich do, but I mean, does anyone have the depth for the amount of injuries they've got at the moment? Could this derail their season a little?
I mean, I'm not going to say come to any conclusions because I don't know just how severe all these injuries are. Because I could say that they'll be in a bad run for a few weeks, but by a few weeks, a lot of their players may be fit. I don't know the extent of their injuries, so I won't say too much on that. But for the time being, it is very worrying because I can't remember who said it in our pre-season predictions back when the season began that Norwich have one of the greatest squad depths in the league. But not just for like amount of players, but they have a bit of quality on that bench as well. But with the amount, like you said, the amount of just the sheer amount of injuries they have, it's very hard. Where I think they had 12 unavailable. I want to say it's
Yeah,
something ridiculous.
their bench was the average age of their bench was 19 years old.
Yeah, I mean they had 12 unavailable players, and no matter, I mean, you can have a Premier League team with 12 unavailable players. Liverpool are looking like that right now, and they're bringing in players that don't have any experience in the Premier League. And there's the same with Norwich in the Championship. The Championship is a very physical league, and if you haven't got any experience in that at all, and you're playing with players who also don't have any experience in this physical league, then the next few games, if they don't get those senior players back, they're going to struggle. I know Max Aarons went off injured as well, and that's another big name they're going to miss. And I think they're going to run out of first team options, like experienced first team options, very quickly.
I mean, I guess this is the time where we find out how good a manager Daniel Farke is, because it's all well and good getting promoted from the division with the best team in the division, as what a lot of us think it is. These are the moments when Norwich have to pick up points. And like I've said, I think Norwich were going to run away of the league. I don't know the extent of all these injuries, but I mean, just that many injuries alone, even if not for a long time, can disrupt the flow of things, can't it? So I'll be interested to see how Norwich get on in the next few weeks. And speaking of the next few weeks, we are going to get into predictions now. Regan, predictions. How did we do over the weekend?
Well, I like when you said on Twitter, when you posted them all out, you said, "Oh, I'm going a bit out there this week." There's only two different fixtures predictions between us both, so nothing was really going to happen. But I did win it because thank you to both Wickham for scoring that late goal against Derby, and me and my amazing knowledge yet again to know that Birmingham and Millwall are just so awful that it's bound to be a 0-0. I even said that in the video. It's going to be a ball fest 0-0, and that's exactly what happened. So I know you said a few weeks ago, but is that a free bonus points? I think so.
Oh,
so,
I don't remember. I don't remember saying that. You're just making up things again. It's just.
Anyway, but I don't really need them at the moment because the lead is 3 regardless. It was 5-4 to me this week, and that means overall, if I can find it, it's 61-58. That's the first time I've won in about 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, I've let it slide here, but anyway, we know I love a midweek prediction. We know I love it. It's gonna, when it's one of those, it's like those cliches. When you're losing, all you want is the next game. That's exactly what I want right now. You want to wrong those rights. You want to wrong those rights. You want to right those wrongs, don't you? You want to right those wrongs. That's
If you want
completely.
I guess.
But anyway, yeah. So, sorry, I forgot I was going to write predictions. That's what I was doing. Oh God, blimey. You have your sorry for anyone who knows about this guy called Charles Hendy. He used to he's messaging me and trying to distract me from the champ talk where he's not welcome. But anyway, we'll get into the predictions. The first game on Tuesday night, the first game of December, a busy December schedule for the Championship as always, is Cardiff City versus Huddersfield in South Wales.
I can't call Huddersfield for the life of me.
I know. Just put 3 goals past Borough.
You can't score past Wickham, but you score 3 goals against the best defensive team in the league. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But Cardiff, I mean, I hate Cardiff mainly because of the fact that they've cost me like 5 points in the predictions. Because every time I back them, they lose, and then the one time I don't back them, they absolutely thrash Luton. This is like a really tough one to start off with because I feel like this could be one that it's a valuable point to either one of us. Amazing logic once again. It's going to be no, can't do it to myself. Huddersfield.
I really can't call this either. I remember saying in my predictions, this ain't going to be one of those games where they thump them, and about Cardiff against Luton. I back Luton. Cardiff won 4-0. I mean, I don't know. To be honest, in these games where I see sort of more pragmatic sides against the likes of Huddersfield, who are more of a free-flowing football side. I always seem to go in favour of the pragmatic sides, as is the world of the Championship. But I don't know. It is a hard one call. You say. I think we should move on from it. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a draw just because I can't call a winner. So you just have to go for a draw in those circumstances. The next game is Birmingham Barnsley. This has been featured as one of the main games on Sky in a week for some reason. That has got to be filling some sort of quota. But what are you saying?
I'm not sure what it is, but in the news, I don't see a lot of like criticism towards Karanka or anything, even though recently his results have been terrible. I can't remember the last time he won a game. I think wasn't it when they beat Preston? Like it was around Halloween or something like that. I think that's the last time they may have won.
Currently sitting in 17th.
And there's no pressure on him, and we both said it last week that they just look terrible. Yeah. They're awful. I remember the start of the season I was going, Karanka 1-0, 1-0, etc. I haven't done that in quite a few weeks, and I can't see that even happening this week because I know Barnsley are in a bit of a bad run because you come up against two good teams in Blackburn and Brentford. Put up goodish games, but I feel like they can have the edge here, so I'm going to back Barnsley.
Yeah, Barnsley. You know what? I'm going to back Barnsley too. I think we've seen his current. I just don't back Birmingham on this channel. Birmingham are Birmingham. They are pretty boring. They're pretty dull. Karanka hasn't set the world alight, despite a backing would be maybe too much a strong one, but he hasn't like been let down by the owners, has he? There's been some players he brought in. Like, maybe it's not loads of money spent, but he has got players in that he wants, and he's not really done much with it. Barnsley, a team who've upset a few sides recently, so I'm going to go for Barnsley on this one too. The next game is Bournemouth versus Preston. Bournemouth were held to a draw at Rotherham on the weekend, 2-2, but they are still second in the league.
Yeah, I'm gonna back them on this one because Preston are just, in the last two games, I think they've conceded 7, 8, I think maybe 7 goals. And recently, Bournemouth have been scoring goals for fun. So I think that can only go one way. I said that last week about Cardiff Luton, but I'm sure on this one it's going to go to Bournemouth. Please be right.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Bournemouth too. Not much to be said about this one. I think it's easy cover. I'm just going to go for Bournemouth, second in the league, flying. Derby Coventry, bit of a Midlands derby there.
I mean, it doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence that they couldn't see out a win versus Wickham because Wickham like their 0-0s and to get a draw in as late as they did. It doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, like I said. And Coventry put a good performance in, and they beat Cardiff the other week. I think because Wayne Rooney's had a bit more time with his players. Normally, I'd say Coventry win, but I think Wayne Rooney's going to have a bit more time with his players, so I'm going to back a draw.
I'm going to go Coventry. I see a team just. There's the most important thing in football is confidence, I think, and that team has none of it. Like I said, letting that lead slip against Wickham didn't look good against Bristol City, particularly. Just not for me. And Coventry coming off the back of a draw at Norwich, some decent results, better results recently. They're still obviously not setting the world alight, but they've got some better results recently. I think Coventry are a team who play with a lot of energy. I mean, a team who's learning on confidence and who's going to be taking bad touches and not trusting in their own ability. I think a team like Coventry can run over them, take them by surprise. So I'm going to go for a Coventry win in that one. The next one on Tuesday night is QPR versus Bristol City. Both teams coming off the back of losses.
I don't think Bristol City's defensive issues will be too significant against QPR because even though they're they're having a lot of shots on goal recently in QPR. I feel like Bristol have a bit more quality. Actually, no, that's a lot more quality than QPR. So I'm going to back Bristol City.
Yeah, I'm going to go back Bristol City on this. I tried to tell myself otherwise. QPR, I could see Asai Samuel look good against us, being a threat against Bristol City down his side. Could see Lyndon Dykes getting a bit of freedom in the box, like I said, with Moore and Viner not looking particularly impressive. But Bristol City are just a better side, do you know what I mean? And I like the QPR. Really, Brentford didn't really cause QPR any problems on Friday in terms of like getting the progressive forward football, and yet we still scored 2 goals with pretty ease. Like it's pretty easy to get those 2 goals. So when you got Naki Wells and the likes of Juju and Martin in the box, I think you're going to struggle. So I'm going to go for a Bristol City win in that one. And then the final game of Tuesday night is Rotherham Brentford.
I mean, it's logical that Rotherham lost to QPR, Brentford beat QPR. There you go. Draw. No, Brentford.
Yeah, Brentford winner. I mean, I talk enough about Brentford on this channel. I think we'll just leave it at that. That is an easy 3 points, I dare say. I did say my predictions. I thought it was going to come back and bite me. So I said an annual 3 points against QPR. And I was like, yeah, that's going to come back to bite me. But it didn't, because I am the cleverest man going. So it says the man who just said cleverest. Middlesbrough or Swansea is the first of the Wednesday night fixtures, Regan. What are we thinking for that one? 2 teams who are doing well.
I don't know. I mean, that Middlesbrough one is just I don't really know what to think against the Huddersfield one. I'm going to back Swansea because I think that their run that they're on is very, very impressive. And like you said, to succeed in this league, you need quite a bit of confidence. And I feel like conceding 3 for the first time this season is going to deflate some of the Middlesbrough players. So I am going to back Swansea.
I'm going to go for the logic that Neil Warnock will not let his side do that 2 games in a row. He'll get them back to, right, we're keeping a clean sheet this game. And I can see a very boring 0-0, in all honesty. I can see Swansea struggling to break down Middlesbrough, and Middlesbrough are one of the best sides in the division at just sitting there, and they will contain you. I think Swansea will grow frustrated, and they might just not quite have that zip to unlock them. So I'm going to go for 0-0, draw on that one. Blackburn Millwall is the next game.
Blackburn getting back to their goal-scoring ways now. Adam Armstrong's finding the back of the net again.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a good sign for them in the next few games until he blanks. It could be this game for all I know. But with that momentum he's got behind him and the momentum he brings to the team, I think that they're going to make a charge a bit up the table because every time we praise them, they were like 18th and stuff. So I think they're actually going to make a charge up the table now. So I'm going to back the Rovers.
I'm also going to back Blackburn. Like I said, when Adam Armstrong's scoring, Blackburn Rovers are winning. That is my logic there. The next game, Regan, is... Sorry, I've lost it again. I'm pretty sure it's Luton Norwich, though. And it is Luton Norwich at Kenilworth Road. Luton just come off the back of a 4-0 bumping by Cardiff. But Norwich, like we said, do have their injury concerns at the moment. It's not a full-blooded Norwich. They will have Emi Buendia back, though.
Oh, it's hard to call it because I don't know who of Norwich, like who's Norwich's players will be back for this game. Because I feel like just 2 or 3 of their senior players will be enough to spur them across this line. But if it's like the same team at Kenilworth Road on a Wednesday evening, 7:45 in December, oh my God, that has Nathan Jones written all over it. But I'm gonna take the risk, and I think that more than Buendia will be back for Norwich, so I'm gonna back Norwich.
I'm gonna go for Luton. I still think Norwich don't worry. I still think Norwich are going to walk away with this league in the long run, but I think this could be a little patch of 4 or 5 maybe games where they struggle with the injuries and etc. I think, yeah, like a Wednesday night at Luton, doesn't matter if there's fans there or not, is not a nice and it's not an easy rollover sort of fixture. So I think Luton are going to get it stuck into them. Already played them once this season early on in the Cup, I believe, and Luton won that game. So Jones knows what it takes to beat Norwich this season. And I think Luton are going to get the win in that one. 3 games to go in this midweek fixture list. Nottingham Forest, Watford is the next one. Watford off the back of a 4-1 win, whereas Forest lost 1-0 on Sunday to Swansea. Forest look poor.
Yep, that's literally exactly what I was about to say. Nottingham Forest 2 points above Wycombe Wanderers. What else do you want me to say? And Watford just look very impressive at the moment, and I think they continue that. So I'm about Watford.
Going to back Watford too. Got to move on from that one. It's as straightforward as that. Sheffield Wednesday versus Reading, the penultimate game.
That Tony Pulis doesn't really fill me with too much confidence. I mean, he's getting results as in 2 points.
Yeah, I see. I'm not convinced that. Like I said at the time, I'm still not convinced that getting rid of Gary Monk was a wise decision at all.
No, I completely agree with that. But the 2 points he has got are against 2 pretty free-scoring teams in Swansea and Stoke. So I've got to applaud him for that. And I think he's going to continue the same thing where he's just going to halt Reading from scoring. But since it's Sheffield Wednesday and they can't really seem to score themselves, I'm going to back a draw.
I'm going to go for Reading this one. Just Pulis will try and do his best to halt them, but I just think the likes of, like we saw in Prestige, Ajaria, Zhao, Puskas, those Yaku Mite, decent little forward line. I think Sheffield Wednesday are very poor at the moment. I'm going to go for a Reading win. And finally, to wrap up the weekdays games, it is Wycombe versus Stoke at Adams Park.
I mean, Wycombe just aren't fun to watch or predict or anything because some days they could come out and then they could snatch a 1-0 and then they could get thumped and then they play quite well like they did against Huddersfield and even Brentford and get a draw. But I think the quality Stoke have at the moment and just their goal scoring capability, where Huddersfield don't really have that star power like Tyrese Campbell brings to Stoke and what no one brings to Derby. I'm going to back Stoke.
Yeah, I'm going to have to back Stoke too to wrap up those predictions. I'm sorry, Wycombe Wanderers, but you're still going down. You've shown signs of life. Fair play to you. But it's like someone on their deathbed sitting up for one last cup of tea. You're still ultimately going down. It's a lovely thought for the end of this midweek championship predictions and champ talk. Remember, that is the end of this week's champ talk. We will get back to you. And when we are back with you, we will be predicting games. We'll be analysing games played in front of fans. There's next on the weekend, there will be fans back in grounds. And I can't wait to see some limbs. I'm sure there'll be plenty of limbs allowed. Have you seen the little the plea to get clubs are wanting to get it so fans can drink alcohol in view of the pitch as a thing? To be honest, I think that's a great idea because I mean they got, if you're gonna host 2,000 people, maybe like the likes of Brentford in the Championship, it might not seem like a lot of people, but to clubs in League One and League Two, I think it's a good idea. But anyway, that is the end of this champ talk. Remember, Regan, what have they got to do? They've got to like the video. You've got to subscribe to the From the Terrace podcast YouTube channel. Leave us a rating on iTunes. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next champ talk.